New draft report on UFOs. The Pentagon's expert warning about a possible mothership coming close to Earth. Stay with us.
If this thing is indeed extraterrestrial, having even 10 more minutes of heads up on what's going on out there, that would be crucial information. This would probably provide us, several weeks of data before it actually got here.
We also get interesting data already from the Hubble Space Telescope and today, presumably also from the Webb Telescope. And I should say the Hubble images of 3I Atlas are quite puzzling because you see a glow in front of the object instead of trailing it the way that comets usually look like.
Wow. And have there been any theories of yours of what could possibly be that glow that would be in front of the object instead of the tail, like you said?
Well, one possibility is that the front of the object, as it moves towards the sun, is hotter. That's the day side of this object, and as a result of that, it evaporates. And but the problem is, we see this glow in front, but we don't see any evidence for molecules that usually characterize cometary plumes around the comets, molecules that are carbon-based. There is no evidence for them. People have tried to look for them. And so maybe this is dust without any gas. That seems unusual. And we still need to understand what is going on. As it gets closer to the sun, it will get warmer, and then perhaps we would see more details about its nature.
Trying to understand if this is extraterrestrial, and the idea is that it's been launched from somewhere or came from another planet, are you able to determine, based on the trajectory we've had so far, what solar system that could have come from? And with how fast it's traveling, how long ago would this thing need to have been launched to get here?
Right. So it's moving at a very high speed, 1,000 times faster than the speed limit on a highway, at 60 kilometers per second. So what a car does roughly in 1 hour, it does in 1 second. It has entered the outer boundary of the solar system, the so-called Oort cloud, about 8,000 years ago at that speed. This boundary is 100,000 times the Earth-Sun separation. And so 8,000 years ago is when humans started to document their history. It's relatively recent. And then, if it came from some base, if it's actually alien technology, maybe they have a base in the outer solar system, at 1,000 times the Earth-Sun separation, it would have taken it about 80 years to reach us. That's roughly the period over which we broadcasted our technological advances. So if someone is listening to us out there, they could potentially visit us on a reconnaissance mission. And the reason I was suspicious of this object is, first of all, from its brightness, if you assume it's a solid object, has to be 20 kilometers, and there is just not enough rocky material in interstellar space to deliver once per decade such a giant rock. A 20-kilometer rock can arrive at our vicinity once per 10,000 years or so. There is just not enough material. And moreover, it has a very special orbit. The trajectory is in the plane of the motion of the planets around the sun. That's a 1 in 500 chance. And then it comes close to Jupiter, Mars, and Venus with a 1 in 20,000 chance. And so the question is whether this trajectory was designed. And, we have to watch it to figure it out. The one interesting point is I wrote a paper this morning suggesting a risk scale. Now it's called the Loeb scale for assessing.
Congrats on that, by the way.
For assessing whether an object is completely natural. If we see a comet or an asteroid or icy rock out there that shows all the properties of icy rocks in our backyard in the solar system, then it gets a 0 on that scale. However, if it seems to be technological because it maneuvers, it has some propulsion, an engine, or it emits artificial light, then we can conclude that it's technological, and that would rank it as 10 on that scale. And this is really important for us to do for every objects that enters the vicinity of Earth from outside the solar system, because we just don't know who our neighbors are.
Yes. Well, one thing I wanted to ask you, Dr. Lobo, last time we spoke, we talked about, obviously, there's the Fermi paradox, which most people are familiar with if if the universe is so vast and abundant, then where's all the life at? Where's that happening? But you also mentioned the answer to that paradox, a proposal of the dark forest theory, where like a hunter in the forest wanting to hide from different predators, and that intelligent life could adapt to that, where it's aware of other intelligent life, and obviously keeping those signals not as bright. But we spoke about that our first priority, if this has any indication that it might be from an alien intelligence, is to listen, don't speak, like we would on a date, especially a blind date. But can you speak a little bit about what the human response might be together here on Earth? Do you see nations putting aside their differences? I know that President Reagan had talked about that in a famous speech with the Soviet Union, that we'd be willing to put aside our differences to unite together as humanity. Do you see that scenario happening? Or would we play like we do with every situation, every person for themselves?
This was a very wise statement from President Reagan, and in fact, he's responsible for me being in the U.S. because I led the first international project of the Strategic Defense Initiative that is now rejuvenated in the context of the Golden Dome. The way I see it is that if we identify on this lobe scale, identify a technological object that is close to 10, there needs to be a discussion between policymakers and the scientists about how to respond to it. And the response, just imagine a visitor to your backyard. The way you respond to that visitor, it depends on who the visitor is, what the capabilities of the visitor are, and what the intent is. And therefore, we should collect as much data, we should observe before having an opinion. But eventually, we'll have to respond if the visitor comes very close to us and perhaps even gets to Earth. Or we see, we could see mini probes that were released by some mothership that passes nearby, and we will see activity in the Earth's atmosphere. The question is what to do about that. And there needs to be an international organization, because presumably the aliens don't care how we split territories on this Earth. For them it's irrelevant, and this will be a problem for all humans. So there needs to be some coordination among all. We are all in the same boat. And just like President Reagan said, I do think it will bring people together. When you have an external threat, people tend to unite. And that, in a way, is a messianic era. If you think about the arrival of the Messiah, maybe that will come from another star, in the sense that it will bring peace to Earth among all humans. I hope so. I also hope that it will not endanger the future of humanity. And I hope that we could learn from any technologies that they might have that we don't have. We will learn about new science as well.
Awesome. I really appreciate joining us. I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours.
Yes.
And what's cool about this, even if it isn't something alien like that, it's still a cool thing we don't know anything about. It's a new thing we get to learn about.
So much out there.
Yeah.
Dr. Avi Loeb,
my
sir.
basic point is that science can be fun, and that you never should lose your childhood curiosity. Don't pretend to be the adult in the room.
Love it.
that. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.